what? That would be the most Robert Sarver thing. You think I'm racist? You think I'm racist? Yeah? Huh? Have you met my friend Rihanna? Huh?
No, he's gonna sell it to Diddy or something.
Yeah, he met my friend P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, as they call him. Ha.
You can just call me Sean.
Bad boy, right? That's what you colors. I mean, that's what you black people do. But bad boy.
That's what you blacks do.
I have friends. I have black friends. Look at my guy, Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, he's the new owner of the team.
Sean P. Daddy Combs.
All right, congratulations, nigga. Oh.
Yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I am the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll. Charles is always daydreaming. We're two guys that like BSN at work. Okay, it's been an interesting week for the NBA. Robert Sarver is officially going to sell the team, which I think is the right move on his part. Again, don't cry for him. He's about to get billions of dollars. So, boo-hoo, you don't own a team, but you're about to make way more money now. So the rich always get richer.
Absolute generational wealth is what he's about to get.
Right. So, America, you screw up, and you pay, and you get to pay for it.
I'm telling you, guys like him are the real victims nowadays. They're the real victims.
We're not, we don't even really need to get into that. We discussed that on another pod. You can go check that out. Apparently Bezos, Bob Iger, and other, rich people that we know are interested, as they should be, obviously, hoping that a black,
Not a black.
No, I'm hoping that a black owner gets to slip.
The way you the pause was a terrible pause. You're like, I'm hoping that a black.
Hoping that one of those Negroes.
I was just like, a black now.
Yeah.
One of those colored
boys.
I want a colored elite.
One of those colored elite people get to. But no, seriously, I hope an African American group or at least person gets a chance. Because that's another thing. Because he's selling it willingly, he gets to choose. Now, obviously, the NBA gets to vote to approve it, but he gets to choose who he's going to sell it to. So maybe if he really wants to save face, maybe he will give it like Jay-Z, everybody.
Jay-Z already owned the team. Like I don't even think he's like.
I know. I'm just trying to think of like somebody.
He's too petty too. I don't think he would want the Suns. He would take the Suns if it's a ridiculous price. Don't get me wrong. He's Jay-Z. Like I'm just mean like he totally wants Brooklyn. That's what he wants.
I mean that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm just saying him. Everything he's ever said is like yeah.
But you know what? That would be the most Robert Sarver thing. You think I'm racist? You think I'm racist? Yeah? Huh? Have you met my friend Rihanna? Huh?
No, he's gonna sell it to Diddy or something.
Yeah, he met my friend P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, as they call him. Ha.
You can just call me Sean.
Bad boy, right? That's what you colors. I mean, that's what you black people do. But bad boy.
That's what you blacks do.
I have friends. I have black friends. Look at my guy, Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, he's the new owner of the team.
Sean P. Daddy Combs.
All right, congratulations, nigga. Oh.
Yeah.
That would be the most Robert Sarver thing. You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it at this.
I'll take it. Uncle Rock is, who let these new owners in here?
Oh, there goes the neighborhood.
Don't trust them new owners over there.
I'll take it because you know what? Sometimes as black people, we complain about like we want it perfectly. It's like, bro, let's just get it first. Then we can complain about how we got there. Like, let's just take the blessings and then worry about the validity of the blessings later. Because honestly, at this point,
you say that, but like you'd be disappointed in like God if like somebody like Candace Owens bought that. You'd be like, oh no. see, you were all supportive until I actually said a real name.
That's probably what's gonna happen now. More I think about it.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we got to have even more depressing conversation anyway. So I figured I'd
say on that
nice little segue.
I'm about to say on that depressing note, let's move to the
I want everyone to know we could do the whole shtick like, ha ha ha, we're happy it's the Celtics, but it's just a kind of, a fuck situation. So we're going to talk about it because it is ridiculously huge NBA news, considering that the Celtics just had such a successful run under Ime that Nets fans were like, I can't believe we let this guy walk off our staff, to now he's suspended for a year. Feels like out of nowhere, even though the investigation, according to the press conference earlier today, was like this was an investigation since the summer, and they just decided it was over in the last couple of days. They broke the news, and you could give the details because I'm still unclear on what the real details are. I was listening to the press conference, and if you go listen to the press conference, it was Brad and the GM, right?
Brad and the owner, which by the way,
Brad and the owner, my bad.
I never even knew who the owner was until this. Like,
and they
that's
really,
a whole other commentary on a whole nother different thing. But go ahead, because again, we didn't know who Robert Sarver was either until this whole situation happened.
But Brett, I have to say, at least as a journalist, the owner then was straight up with the press immediately. He said, hey, I don't usually like to do notes, and I have notes, and I'm just letting you know I can hand you the notes. You're not going to get much from them. And just as somebody that has worked press conferences, is at least that is a heads up for certain questions that I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to answer those. And I know people are going to hate that, but in a real situation, like, and a lot of I know Brett and I have to break down some of these conversations into, this is a real job though. Like, people that work in an office, and this counts as just regular people at the end of the day. And that's what makes it, they can't speak on a lot of this stuff. It's privacy issues, it's personnel issues. Legally, they have no right to just put people's business out there if all they did was violate some company rules at the end of the day, and not the law. But I really do think they handled the press conference well for what they could say. I think a 1-year suspension is more or less fair. Like, I don't know how the contract works. You're gonna have to pay him regardless, but he has to get disciplined from a real job standpoint, in my opinion. So I don't know where you want to start off. Like, necessarily, do you know the real, the air quotes, real accusations, alleged, like, I don't even know what it is. Both consensual at the end of the day, just for clarity. Everything that we've heard so far is it's all been consensual. It's just been more or less inappropriate for you to be sleeping around at work, essentially.
So here's the thing. I do know some more information. I'm not gonna say it on this pod because I think it'd be irresponsible to say on this pod. It's being kept hush hush for a reason. So I won't. We're not newsbreakers anyway. So I'll just keep that to myself. Two, one of the good things about what we do, and we're not an everyday YouTube channel, we don't have to be the first to report on stuff. It allows me to listen to more people and do my own research and get different perspectives on different things. So because there's two things that have my mind has changed on since this first all broke a couple days ago, which is, one, a lot of people say, well, if it's consensual, why the year-long suspension, even if there isn't nothing deeper under the surface here? And to be honest with you, the more I've listened to other people and got their perspective on it, it makes sense, because it's inappropriate. You just can't have that in the workplace for no other reason than consensual is very, very thin when it comes to workplace relationships. Because at the end of the day, whenever you have a boss, basically, and a head coach is a boss at especially on the NBA team, whenever you have a boss, dating or in any type of relationship with a subordinate, the word consensual can be very misconstrued, because all they can say is, yeah, it was consensual, but what was I supposed to do? If I say no, that could be my job.
Yeah.
Which is why
you don't do it.
Exactly. Which is why companies have that policy. Like, no, it's different if they had a relationship before work. You know what I mean? If he were, when he became the head coach, if he hired his girlfriend or his wife at a certain position, that's different than, hey, we met at the workplace and now we have this relationship. Because even if it's consensual, it's kind of hard to prove that, because you would have to prove that the other person involved either didn't want to worried about retribution or wasn't doing it for personal gain. You know what I mean? That's the other side of it too, to defend Ime a little bit as well. You know what I mean? Like that's all part of it. So
yeah, but at the end of the day, it's the first part, and that's all that really matters, because not only are you in a position of leadership from that standpoint, the systemic problem of men taking advantage of women trying to get ahead in an office space. And not only is this is also a sport where the women in basketball get disrespected regularly. So this is just a bad look from that standpoint too. But it's still the first point. You don't go past that, because in just an everyday context, the saying at every blue collar job I've ever worked at, from warehousing to part-time, whatever, you don't shit where you eat. Like, you don't do it. Like, I worked retail with a bunch of girls before. It can get really problematic if you shit where you eat. Like that's just life. So, that's part of being a grown-up at the end of the day, is keeping it in your pants for both men and women. That causes problems in your professional life, and you don't do it. That's just part of being professional. A lot of the times we get up on here and we talk about young Black men and how we have to go the extra mile and a half to be seen as professional. And so when this shit happens, and it's crazy just because we joke all the time about the Celtics being racist, and I need us to be who we've been on this pod real quick and just point out that this is what it looks like when we know it's not racist. You know what I mean? Like, just for people's perception, when they're like, oh, how come? This is one of those times, guys. Like, we're Ime fans as far as the sport goes, but I can cut it off and be like, his career's not over because of this, because it's consensual. So him being suspended a year, yeah, tough shit. You have a guaranteed contract at the end of the day, and you know better. Everybody else, like a regular ass dude that gets caught fucking anybody on his staff and another woman on his staff, two people on your some related to your job, and while you have somebody and you're in a leadership.
Wait, hold on. I don't think it's the two. I think it's just the one. So and then that's another thing. There's so much speculation in Twitter.
Okay, but regardless, if it's one or two, if you fuck somebody related to your job, you can lose your job. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Like, I see people defending it, and the suspension's too harsh or whatever. That's cool, but regular people just saying you could just get fired for that shit.
If it were me or you, we get fired.
You're getting fired, and me and you. If I said that to you and I got fired, that I was cheating on my wife, and with who? Somebody I worked with, you would just sit there like you're like. You know better. That would literally be one of the first words out your mouth. Is like,
I would laugh at you. Let's be real. I would laugh at you. I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah, like that's how stupid it is. Like, you would be like, wow, I thought more of you, you fucking idiot. That's actually like, you would.
Right, like, you're not 22. We're in our 30s. It's like, it's all right.
For real, dude. That's part of it. Like, he's not. You have. What is your excuse here, bro? You need therapy.
And it. You brought up a good point, especially when we talk about, African Americans getting these type of jobs and stuff like that. Ime, man, you are the Black head coach of the Boston Celtics. That's a big deal. And it's
you're killing it. There's no reason you should be missing part of your prime.
You in your first ever year as a head coach, you brought your team to the finals, bro. Like, that's a big deal. And now all of that almost gets thrown out the window. I say almost because, again,
but they haven't fired him. That is something, though, because if it cools off and he can come back and they're still good. Because
I don't think he's ever going to coach. To be honest with you, I think this is his last time being a Boston Celtic. He'll get another job. Matter of fact, he'll be the first one hired next
by the Brooklyn Nets. You think?
Maybe, but the point of the matter is, he'll get another job. But my thing is, as Black men, as you know, everything we do is magnified, for good or worse. And so at the end of the day, it's like, man, this was a really bad look, bro. And there's a lot of brothers that are trying to get jobs in these industries. And now you gave every person a chance to point at you and say, well, this is why we don't hire. This is why we don't do it, because they can't handle it. They're not mature enough. They're not good enough. They still think this is, and even Stephen A. Smith, because I just watched his reaction to it. He was very pissed off at the presser. He thought that the owner made a lot of stereotypical remarks. Now I got to go back and watch it again myself, when I was watching it, stuff was going on, so I was half listening to it. So I don't know what he's referring to.
Yeah, I don't know what he's referring to. I didn't watch the entire thing. I think the whole thing is like 40 minutes long. At least
No, it's like, well, the video I sent you is only like 30. It's 30 minutes long.
Okay, it's 30 minutes long. And then I got like 20 minutes in. So I wanted to say I didn't watch the whole thing. But what stereotypical thing? Yo, that's the worst part. Yes, it's going to be stereotypical. You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, if we're talking about stereotypes, he fed right into the stereotype that a black man can't be professional because he can't keep his dick in his pants. Like, it is what it is at the end of the day. You fed into a stereotype. Did you fuck this girl supposedly? Like, did you like I don't even know, man. It's just frustrating because we could be playing the joke, oh, haha, Celtics, we want to talk about the Nets, but that's just a disservice to
listen, if we would have done this pod 3 days ago when this came out, I would have came to you and I would have said, Sean Marks, you done it again. You know what I mean? Because first it was the Jaylen Brown rumors, then Robert Williams with the knee, and now Ime Udoka. I would have sworn that, hey, Sasha, I would have sworn that Sean Marks spent his whole summer not trying to trade Kevin Durant, but saying, you know what, y'all want to laugh at me? I'm going to get the last laugh. Hey, Brad, by the way, you might want to check on your meeting room. I'm seeing stuff that, I shouldn't be seeing on the ring camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what I would have said on Monday. Today, I'm just like, yeah, this is serious. I can't make that joke.
Bro, it's serious. Yo, I feel bad for the women involved because they're getting dragged.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. It really did. That's and to me, that was a crazy thing when Brad was talking and you saw he got choked up and he was emotional. He was very emotional.
Because they deserve better.
They do deserve better. And again, we're talking about black men. Women have it worse, especially in sports. So let's, you know what I mean?
No, especially in basketball, it seems like they have to be ridiculously talented to get any type of respect, even though if they step on any court on any street in regular America, they're gonna cross you up. Like, people make the joke, oh, if they go against some high school varsity team, that's the level of disrespect professionals get when they're just women. And like we've talked on this pod about women should support the WNBA more. So I just feel like we need to be, like, especially in times like this, objective as possible, so they see that it's not just black and white and it's all shades of gray, because we can be critical of the structure of the WNBA and still support women in the sport of basketball. Like, everything isn't, you know what I mean? And that's getting lost just because. And because this dude is getting suspended a year, and there's dudes out here saying he's getting disrespected in this, and it's just crazy because we shouldn't know who the women are. It's just a matter of there's an X amount of people that work at the company, and there's only a certain amount of women that are staff members.
Now let me say this to you. Let me ask you this question, because one of Stephen A's points is, why is Ime getting all the blame when there's two people involved? Why are we protecting the woman involved and not Ime? And that's a very interesting question, because my thing is, if he just had to take a leave of absence, right? Or if they would have fired him for or had him resign for personal reasons or whatever, we would have never known about this and it could have gone away.
But we would have found out regardless.
I mean, yeah, down the line, but it would have been a much different situation.
And to answer the question, it's because Ime is a public figure. Ime is on network television, getting what millions of people watched a TV show where he was a character. Like, it's really, this isn't that deep of a question. I think it's a defense, because it's hey, they wasn't the only. No one said he's the only one. No one said that these women might not face some type of consequences at their job. They said that the other person is not going to have any retribution. Then, hey, that tells you something. If Ime is just accepting this punishment, maybe read between the lines on it. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm not about to sit up here and vilify a woman that, in the same breath, we don't know how she felt. And it might have been, there's a level of it could have been consensual until it's not. Like, we don't know. And I'm not trying to make any accusations. I'm just saying, dude's accepting his suspension. It's not like he's causing a ruckus about it. That tells me that he's owning up to whatever his actions were. And all I'm saying his actions was keep your fucking dick in your pants, dude. Like, you're at work. That's it. Don't cheat. Like, that's another thing when you come to a leadership position, at least in our culture here in the United States of America. It's not me on a soapbox. It's me being real. That if you cheat, that is just a reason for them to say that look at your judgment. I can question your judgment. I can question your character. That is just the reality of professionalism, and that's the reality of how we conduct ourselves in this culture. Like, I will lose. There are plenty of people that you cannot criticize losing respect for anybody that cheats on whoever they say they're attached to. I mean, if you're going to cheat on them, how are you going to treat me? How are you going to lie to me? It all branches out from there. And it's somebody that's in a position of leadership, like the head coach, to be cheat on one person with possibly more than one other person, and it to be with somebody at work. It like, why am I going to respect you, bro? You don't even respect the people you say you love. Like,
well,
I'm being serious though, bro. If we're gonna say, if we have to believe what he projects out onto the public, we are the public. So if I'm going to believe that, like, if I'm going to believe that this is your significant, hold on, man. If you tell the world this is your significant other over here, and you over here sleeping with the secretary at work, that's a character flaw, regardless of how. That's not my business. I'm not going to sit here and judge you. But if you're giving barking orders at me every day, it's human. I'm going to judge you for your own judgments.
That's interesting. Without being too stereotypical, I think that's not a big deal in the basketball court, because let's be real, a lot of basketball players cheat on their wives. So it's like,
yeah, I get that aspect of it, but I'm saying it's not just basketball players that are working with that head coach, man.
No, yeah. If you're talking about other staff members and stuff like that, yeah, okay, I can see that. But realistically, the real relationship is him and the players. If the players are like, okay.
No, realistically, if you fuck somebody in the office, it don't matter what the jocks in the locker room think of it, because you're affecting the office.
Yeah. Yes and no. Again, I will tell you this a million times. I said it all summer. Every locker room is toxic. Every single one. It's just
no, hold on. You just contradicted yourself. We're not talking about the locker room.
But no, the assistant coaches are in the locker room too.
Oh, as an assistant coach, huh?
No, I'm not saying it's an assistant coach. You're saying how is he going to walk back into the building and give orders to people? He's not giving orders to the PR guy. He's giving orders to the assistant coaches and the players.
But that's my point. Like, who gives a shit if the players don't think it? Like, it's not just them. It's you're carrying the conduct of your position. You're the head coach of the Boston Celtics. You're more places than just in the locker room with 11 dudes.
Not really. He's with.
No, really. That's the business of the NBA. Like, that's
all right. But what I'm saying, okay, trainers, coaching staff, players. Those are really the three groups of people that he's going to be around with the most, and that he would have any type of real, not control, but like, pecking order with. So again,
I'm saying no, but you're misunderstanding me. I'm saying in every job.
No, yes, in every job, yes. I'm talking about specifically for a head coach. That's the one thing I'm like,
Yeah, but that's exactly why the first reason is the most important reason, that you're abusing your power within the organization, because all you have to deal with are the millionaires that are the NBA players. And the thousandaires and semi-millionaires that might be the staff. Like, I'm not trying to hate on them; they do real work and they get paid for it. Good for y'all.
No, I agree with that. I guess the notion of he's gonna lose his locker room because of this, I don't agree with that. Unless it's something like really, really bad. You know what I mean?
I'm saying, bro, you act two-faced long enough in front of enough people, you're gonna lose them.
Yeah, but there's also a thing of, glass house and who am I to judge? Because like I said, let's be real. There's a lot of people there's a
lot of NBA players fucking people in the franchise. Like that's the difference. Like, there's a difference here. I'm being serious, because there's a difference between if Ime was going out to the strip club. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally, he shouldn't be suspended for a year if he fucked two strippers out there in Boston. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? So there's a level to this. And I just feel like that's kind of not the same thing that we're talking about.
It's not.
The players are like, that's them throwing stones in glass houses. You're fucking people at work. Like, that's what you're doing.
But that's my point. Even you're telling me a player's never
I didn't say never. I said it's not a regular thing.
Okay. 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 I'm just gonna say okay. But I'll put you this way. Deshaun Watson probably has less credibility in his locker room than Ime Udoka has.
Yeah, I hope so.
No, but my point, but what to your point, he's fucking people outside the workplace.
Yeah, not consensual. Jesus, bro. That is not the same thing.
I'm just
no.
Hold on. Tell me. That's never been proven, right? Let's be to be fair to Deshaun Watson, and you know how I feel about it. So I'm not arguing.
What are we doing here?
No. I'm just saying, me and you are on the same page when it comes to Deshaun Watson. But to be fair to Deshaun Watson, it's not proven whether stuff was consensual or not.
Can we run down Brett Farve now? Can I pull up what he did? Because I feel like we've touched on this long enough, and I don't want to say anything that might actually piss anybody off. Because
hold on. The point I'm making.
And what I mean by that is I don't want to say anything about this subject that might piss somebody off. And if I'm going to say something that's going to get me in trouble, it's going to be about Brett Favre in Mississippi.
No, I understand that. But my point is, I'm just playing devil's advocate and looking at all sides of this. If we're being fair, Deshaun Watson, who can legitimately say, hey, I had consensual relationships with all these women outside of the workplace.
He can't legitimately say he had consensual relationships with all those women. They still have accusations.
No, they settled. So at the end of the day, we don't know what happened. They settled. If they wanted to prove that he wasn't telling the truth, they would have not settled. They settled. But at the end of the day, he can legitimately say, hey, I still maintain my innocence, and this was all outside of the workplace. And there will still be people in that locker room be like, yeah, bro, but you're still weird as hell. This is like, hey, bro, if you're going to do it, just don't shit where you work. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, we're not even judging you on the action. We're just judging you off of the fact that you shouldn't have done it here.
Yeah.
So, but that's my point. I still don't think that's bad enough where he would have lost the respect and the admiration from his locker room, unless it's something really bad behind the scenes that we don't know about. That's all I'm saying.
Now we know that Brett won't say the specifics of this situation, but he will say that every single dude in the NBA cheats. He will say that.
I didn't say everybody.
No, that's what Brett said. That's exactly. Everybody heard it. I did
not say that.
Everybody heard it. Everybody heard it. Everybody heard Brett go, man, ain't nobody in the NBA going to care about cheating. That's exactly what Brett's argument was.
No, I'm saying we're adults. We know people do shit they're not supposed to do, and unless you're like a serious, man of faith or something like that, you're not going to be like, oh, you cheated, you heathen. Don't talk to me anymore. Like, no, it's like, all right, hey, bro, you fucked up.
Maybe don't fuck the boss's wife, though. You know what I mean? Like, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, and that's my point. I feel like if I'm being real, I feel like they would joke about it more than anything.
No, I get the boss's wife part, but the staff thing is dangerous. But I'm saying there's levels to it. Why'd you bring up Deshaun Watson to compare him to?
Because
I don't even want to bring him up in the same breath, though. I was trying to avoid it.
No, because it's the only other real example. Because my point is, that's the type of shit you would lose the locker room over.
Because I don't think I'm going so hard on dude. Like I said, this isn't this makes sense. It's a year suspension.
Yeah, but that's my point. I just disagree with the part where he's gonna lose the locker room or lose it with the work. I don't see that. Now again, I also don't think he'll ever coach there again. I think he'll just resign and get another job somewhere else and move on. But let's say he doesn't. He comes back next year. I don't think it's going to be like, hey, man, you've lost the trust of your locker room because no, it's going to be like, okay, hey, man, you did it. Don't do it again. Let's move on.
No, I said, let's make him the Nets head coach. So I don't know what you want. I don't know how else I could be as objective about my opinion on this from the range of response I've given, because there's a level of just wow, this is fucking stupid. Yeah, on his part.
But that's my point. It's just stupid. It's just dumb.
But that's my point. He's a head coach, and you're this fucking stupid.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's good at his job, though. That's the thing. This is a weird one of those things. Like, hey, listen, I might not take any relationship advice from you, but if you tell me what defense to run, I'm going to listen to it. You got us to the finals. That's, you know what I mean? That's whereas
Doc Rivers, you're a good coach. I just don't want your Google history at all.
Like whereas Deshaun Watson, if he throws an interception, I'm looking at you like, yeah, nigga, you just don't make good decisions at all, do you?
Wow.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's a totally different thing. But anyway, yeah, to your point, Brett Farve.
Brett Farve, fuck that guy.
Here's the thing: Brett Farve used to be my favorite player in the NFL because his name was Brett, and I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." His name is Brett, spelled with 2 T's, just like me. He's awesome. He's great. I fell in love with the John Madden version of Brett Farve. Oh, he's just a big kid and he just loves the game and blah 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 blah. Again, as a kid growing up, listening to that and watching him jump around and his players pick him up and spin him around like a helicopter every time he threw a touchdown, I was like, yeah, Brett Favre. Damn it, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, God damn you, Brett Favre. I'm ashamed to share a name with you. Because the more we hear about this guy, the more it's like, bro, like what's up with you? I mean, Shannon Sharp said it best. How low do you have to get to steal from people who need it in the poorest state in the country?
So there's text messages that show former Governor Phil Bryant tried to shepherd a proposal to use welfare funds on the construction of a new volleyball stadium for Brett Favre. Like, this is the level of scandal. And mind you, Jameis Winston stealing crab legs got more coverage than this BS. And this is from Mississippi to
mind you. Here's the thing too. Brett Favre, we know, has money. Not only did he make a lot of money playing, he still has all those icy Copperfit commercials. He still has all those Wrangler commercials. He's got money. Don't tell me he doesn't have money. He is literally the face of the Copper sport brand or whatever the fuck it's called, and he's still the face of Wrangler. Do not tell me this dude doesn't get money. And he does all those other little
text messages show that a separate $1.1 million welfare contract Favre received to promote the program, the subject of many national headlines, was simply a way to get more funding to the volleyball project.
And what I was about to say is
Favre texted.
Huh?
It's just like there's they got him dead to rights pretty much.
He asked, would this get back to me, basically? Asshole, you fucking asshole. But here's the thing. What's annoying about this is you have money, and this was only a $5 million project.
Yep.
Like, dude,
and you're taking it from Mississippi welfare. Do I need to pull up the actual stats so people understand that Mississippi, the state that doesn't have clean drinking?
No. You seen was it Antoine Fisher? Was that the movie? Oh my god, I think it's
Burning.
I think it's Antoine Fisher where he's like, "Hey, you're my Mississippi," and he's like, "What does that mean?" It's like, "You're my Mississippi," because he's like, because the dude from Arkansas, he's like, Mississippi is the only reason why Arkansas is not the worst state in the country. Yeah. So when they're all at boot camp and this guy's also sucking, he's like, "Yo, you're my Mississippi because you're so bad. They're not even yelling at me because you." I think it was
That's
Antoine.
Terrible.
I think it was Antoine Fisher.
Mississippi is literally known for racism and poverty and private prisons, and I'm not even like, am I wrong? And swamps, I guess. But so Mississippi right now, and the last time we recorded, and the last one before that, Jackson, the capital of Mississippi, hasn't had drinkable water. Like a city of, I think, of 600,000 people, mostly Black, haven't had drinking water. And the governor was joking about how he's happy not to be in Jackson on that given day. And you have Brett Farve, who's from Mississippi, like Brett said, has $5 million if he really wants it, is taking millions, about 5, in welfare, tax money, to build a volleyball court or stadium for his daughter, who's going to wear the F ever. And
no, it was done already. This happened years ago. They just now caught him. He stole the money. This is when his daughter was at Southern Miss, which is his alma mater, on the volleyball team. They wanted a new volleyball arena. He helped pay for it. $5 million, bro. You're telling me you can't put out a golf event, a football event, something, and raise that money with the people, with not only the money you have, but the people that you know the fucking governor, obviously. You're telling me you couldn't have had like a governor's ball?
They worked to get the welfare money. Think about that. They did it on purpose. Their whole goal was to use welfare funds to do this.
Like you literally could
not like people act like this is crazy, and human beings in our government collectively, the United States and other people's governments around the world do this shit. This is what they do. People steal money all the time.
It's just sad because again, the governor. Throw a governor's ball. Literally, throw a governor's ball. Do something. Do a governor's charity event.
Do a governor's ball. The governor's ball. Random football game at any stadium in Mississippi to raise money. Get the bronze bomber from Alabama and bring him over to Mississippi for a boxing match for charity. Get Deion Sanders to bring Jackson State somewhere.
Stop. Have Southern Miss get blown out by Alabama for a Saturday, and you would have gotten half the money from that. Hey, Alabama, do you want to kick our ass 62-0 week one of the season, please? Like we need $2 million. Okay. Hey, LSU, you want to beat the shit out of us week 2 of the season? We need $2 million. Okay. Hey, Mississippi State, you want to beat our ass for week 3 of the season? We need $2 million. Boom, you're done. You're done. What are we talking about?
I like how you're mad because you're like, they're not even using the actual corrupt system correctly at this point.
It's built in for you. It's built in for you. Hey, all these SEC teams that need easy ass wins the first 4 weeks of the fucking season. Do you want to beat
or even teams like Notre Dame or something? You know what I mean? Like,
do you want to? No. I'm not even telling you to travel far. Go to Mississippi State, go to LSU, go to Alabama, get your brains beat in, let Bryce Young put up Heisman numbers, and you would have had the money. I don't understand that.
Corruption, bro.
It's just stupid. If we're gonna be corrupt, do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If that was super simple. That was super simple. Hey, we know in college football, the first sometimes even 5 weeks, these guys have cupcakes on their schedule. You could have found 5 or 6 people you would have went 0-6, but who gives a damn? You would have went 0-6. Oh my God, we missed a bowl game that year. But you got your damn stadium. You got your arena.
I just wanted to tear, like, because I was like, I can't talk about Ime when we have.
And by the way, we're from New Jersey. It's the most corrupt state.
That's why we know what we're talking about. It's like
our governor shut down a bridge because people wouldn't vote for him.
Because petty.
Thank you. I have so much respect for
Christie shut down the beaches.
Yes.
And then went on the beach.
Yes.
And then had the nerve to get mad he was photographed.
I didn't go to the beach. Had the most bronze tan ever. Like, I didn't go to the beach. Oh, don't touch my arm. My arm hurts. Like what? And by the way, he ain't stupid. He knew he was a meme. They had him on the drone, and he's still like, I ain't go to the beach. That wasn't me.
That wasn't the beach. That's my backyard. That's the governor's mansion.
Right. That wasn't me. That wasn't me. Hold on. I still got to take sand out of my shoe. That wasn't me. So we know corruption when we see it. Home dude said, yo, you're not going to vote for me? That's tough. Let me see how you get to work today. Shut that bridge down, baby. Brett, call us next time. Yeah, hey guys, I got to steal some money to put, get my daughter's volleyball team. But what should I do? Ooh,
take the welfare funds.
Hold on.
I always take the welfare funds.
Hold on. Let me pull out the Rolodex for you.
That's how corrupt that's how corrupt that state's been. That they felt that confident to take welfare funds. Think about it. A state that is so red, so poor, that is notoriously known for being terrible, and they got the nerve to still steal from the poor people there. Like, there's nobody moving in America to Mississippi. Like, the people don't move to Mississippi if you don't have some type of connection to that state already. People aren't going from California to Mississippi. They're not going from Texas to Mississippi if you don't already own some land there and you actually, like, what the hell's the point? Maybe if you feel like building a prison, because that's one of the states we just send prisoners to. they are so comfortable in taking money for the poorest of the poor that in a state where they've made it hard to get said funds already. And y'all felt comfortable taking $5 million when you know that how many families in Mississippi could benefit from $5 million. Like collectively, if we added up their yearly funds, would hit $5 million. How many people do you think that would be? That's the number I should look up because that's the amount of people these two screwed out of these funds. Like how many?
It's despicable. There's no other way to put it. It's despicable. It's despicable. You stole money from the poorest people in the poorest state to build a volleyball stadium. No offense, Southern Miss, bro. You ain't Alabama. You ain't LSU. Southern Miss. Come on, man. I
after Favre has had the nerve to get political and then play the victim when he got criticized for his political opinions. And I'm just, it's disheartening because, again, Jameis Winston stealing crab legs got more coverage than Brett Farve. And people are saying it's because he's not a current player. Fine. I know we're showing our age with how much we care about Brett Farve. I understand that. There is an element of our age when it comes to us caring about Brett Farve. But I just feel like if Kaepernick, who hasn't played in years.
Fuck that. Michael Vick, you would have thought he was the devil.
Yeah, but he was still, that's the argument made for that comparison. Vick was in his prime and playing compared to Favre, who's been retired for a decade. And I'm saying there's some merit to that comparison, but I feel like if Vic today got caught doing this.
But even when he had the explicit picture sent to the Jets employee, it was like, oh wow, Brett Favre, that's fucked up, bro. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So he's always gotten away with murder because we just loved Brett Favre at the time. He was a gunslinger when you were allowed to be a gunslinger until nowadays where you see guys like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen where it's like, oh, wow, they're doing what Brett Favre is doing without the interceptions. Maybe we should reevaluate how great Brett Favre was. And that pains me to say that because, like I said, that was my favorite player growing up. And
he's the reason the Vikings don't have a ring.
Yeah, and I still contend that he's a top 5 quarterback of all time. And yet, now that we know what we know, it's like, maybe we did let him get away with a lot of shit that he shouldn't have gotten away with. And this is just another example of it. He got to steal from the poorest of the poor to build a volleyball stadium. And here's the fucked up part about it. Had he stole the money for a football stadium, this would have got more coverage. If he stole the money for a football stadium, people would have blamed football. Like, see, this is how corrupt football is. But because it's a volleyball stadium, we could care less about volleyball anyway. So that's the thing. We could care less about poor Black families in Mississippi, and we could care even less about volleyball. That's Southern Miss. So that's really what this is. It's like, okay, he stole from one thing we don't care about to fund another thing we don't care about. Brett Favre's a scumbag. We don't need to talk about it. That's whack. That's whack to me. That is so whack.
And not for nothing, Jackson hasn't had clean water. Like all of this, yes, about Brett Farve, I wanted to touch on since we were criticizing Ime today. But at the same time, they stole from Mississippi, whose capital city hasn't had drinkable water. America.
Again, next time, just have your football team lose. That's what everybody else does. That's what everybody else does. You schedule a hard opponent, get your ass beat.
But this state doesn't have water, and they stole $5 million for a fucking for anything sports. The state there's a place in this state that doesn't have water, and they stole $5 million
for a volleyball stadium that nobody's going to. Let's be real.
In a state that doesn't have water, I'm just need to stress that because there's a lot of people that can't fathom what it's like going like one night without water, let alone it being 6 weeks and you can't use the water.
Yep. For a stadium that nobody is going to, let's be freaking real. Southern Miss volleyball better be the best volleyball team in the freaking country and selling out every day. Because again, if it was football, people would understand. It would be a bigger story, but people would understand, like, okay, at least you're selling out the brand new football stadium. You did this.
Even when it's football, bro. You remember when the Rutgers joined the Big Ten and they had the new stadium and how much money was spent in this state, and people were like, "What the like? We don't even, our football team isn't even that good. What are you doing spending $2 million a year on this bum head coach?" Like that was what people here in our state were actually pissed off about. Football fans, like these weren't just randos. These were people that were like, I'm trying to like Rutgers, and you're pissing me off." Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about real money. Like we're talking about real people's taxes going
and even then they say, yo, if y'all doing this, y'all better be good in 3 years. Like,
yeah.
Like, cause I get it. You have to build better facilities to get better recruits. But it's like, okay, well, you better bring in the better recruits then.
You better hurry the F up about it.
Right. You better bring in the better recruits because
this is a state school. These are state funds.
Like, if you're going to take my taxes to build a football stadium, we're still 3 and 6 every year. Like, what are we doing? It's stupid. It's stupid. I do want to end on this note. I want to give you some props on a high note. Yep, you. Yes, you. We talked our last pod. Please go check it out if you haven't watched it yet. It was about Warner Brothers, and it was about a whole thing about them going to Universal. We talked about the Six Flags thing, and you made the point of I can see Universal just making that particular park of Great Adventure, Universal Studios, New Jersey, or whatever it would be called. And I fought back on that because I'm like, I can't see them doing that. But the more I thought about it, it does make sense for a couple of reasons. One, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, to my knowledge, I think that is one of, if not the only Six Flags that has the water park and the safari and basically a big enough campus where you can turn it into a real studios type of theme park. Even if it's the smallest one out of Orlando and California, it can still be big enough where it makes sense. So that's the first part. Two, I forgot, and I'm surprised I forgot this because I'm following this and as part of it. New Jersey's building movie studios all throughout the state. West Orange is getting one, Newark is getting one, Bloomfield's getting one. They are trying to turn
down here in Monmouth County. It we lost out on it. I don't think we got it.
Yeah, but we're basically trying to.
I'm just saying because me and you have talked about on here about it being closer in like Red Bank, New Jersey, where Kevin Smith is from, on here before. And I'm pretty sure that one isn't one of the ones you're talking about now. Like they're not using that property. That's the old military base.
Gotcha. And so at the end of the day, they are trying to turn New Jersey into Hollywood East. So I can see New Jersey going to Universal and saying, hey, now that you have this property, what do you need? You need tax breaks? Like, what do you need to turn this into Universal Studios, New Jersey?
I told you, man, the politicians are going to go to them like, hey, what do you need to help me help you? That's what they're going to say.
And I don't know which ones, so I'm not going to say which ones, but I know for a fact that one of the problems with a lot of the Six Flags that aren't making money is they're in bad locations where there is no room for growth, right? They're landlocked. There's not much going on outside of the park. It's in the middle of nowhere, but there's nowhere for the park to expand. There's nowhere for other economic business to expand. So everything that you're talking about everything that's being built around that Six Flags shows that it's in a prosperous location where the park can grow as well as stuff around the park for tourism. So the more I think about it, hopefully that is a thing. If they buy it and if they decide to do that, I can see that specific location being turned into Universal Studios, wherever they would call it, New Jersey.
No, I think it would call it Universal Great Adventure.
Well, they'll call it, Universal Studios Great Adventure. Yeah, that's
like keep it simple. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where like that's why the only reason I was saying they don't have to break it down. It's already built. It's kind of like if like a Walmart buys a ShopRite. Oh, they're just going to close it because it's competition. No, it's just going to be a Walmart now. You know what I mean? It's already a Walmart. They're just going to rebrand everything. Like,
well, yeah, but I mean, that's I guess. My thing was, I think it would have made more financial sense to shut them all down and just build out your two themes.
Like you don't go, oh, the Walmart's super close. Well, they make money. Like a Universal Studios, New Jersey and Florida is close for like the world tourism, sure. But as far as like what tourism is, New Jersey and Florida are far apart. A New York vacation, you can.
I agree with that.
Oh, but I'm just saying, me and you take for granted that we're in a state where there's two touristy cities between each other that are just major cities on this planet. Like we just grew up with around that. Like New York and Philly, bing bang boom. How many times have you been to Philly? I mean, like it's just like it's right there type
and
of thing.
DC is not far either.
Yeah, I've been to DC only like once in my life, but I know it's not that far. In Florida, same thing. Like there's a bunch of different cities, but they're all farther apart. So those are two different vacation destinations for completely different types of families at different stages that still encompass. Oh, look, we can go to Disney World or in Universal, or oh man, we can go to Universal Great Adventure, stay there. We'll go to Philly these 2 days, then we'll go to the New York City these 2 days, then we'll come back and spend a day at the water park, and then we'll go home.
Right. And so
Like,
that's the thing, because it's not just Great Adventure, it is Hurricane Harbor, it is Wild Safari.
oh, the crazy part is knowing, at least this is like how it works, like anecdotally for people I know, there are people that just go to Hurricane Harbor. There are people that just go to Six Flags. So like just operating those two, as you know, there's never been a question if Six Flags is going to open until the pandemic was like threatening everything like that. Like Six Flags was a guaranteed, oh, things are down this year. It was never like, oh, it's scary. It was just like, oh, they're going to run this promotion and bing, bang, boom, new ride. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. I knew Great Adventure was a moneymaker for Six Flags and for New Jersey. I was just saying Universal, it didn't make sense to keep one park open for any reason, just shut them all down.
if it didn't have what it has, like, because again, I didn't take for granted how close it was to me, because my cousins didn't have anything like that an hour away. So knowing that it has the tallest ride in the world type of thing, knowing that it's always had like a Batman live action show with explosions, actors, all that stuff. They have a water park show where it used to be Mission Impossible and Speed shows, and they dolphins, jet skis, all that stuff. And they have a stage where there's been concerts and wrestling. Not to mention all the, like what you said, the Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers imaging and IPs that are already built into the infrastructure of the park, that if Universal acquired all this stuff and they got that, and they would just be like, cool. Like, hey, look what we got now. Like it just I don't see tearing down a kingdom. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like you conquered, this is one of the castles you got. You know what I mean? Like,
that's true. But again, when you're talking big time purchases, I can see them saying, well, financially, it makes sense to just shut all these bitches down and just pour that money into the two parks we already have. But like you said, I still believe that no other park would be safe. I still believe that every other park would be shut down. But there is a serious case to make for the Great Adventure one because of that opportunity. Like I said, the LA one, their second biggest one, I feel like that would be the first to go because, again, you already have a Universal Studios right there in Hollywood.
Maybe, or they just expand. You never know.
Well, it's not like they're next to each other. So it's like,
no, that's what I mean. They might just create a completely separate park for whatever reason that has a certain kind of attraction to it. Like, if you, like you said, knock it down and build something else. Like, there's a whole VR world. There's a whole nerdy aspect. Like, they could literally build a Jurassic Park at one of these locations.
They could.
You know what I mean? Think about the crazy shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. What they do with the actual land they now own is, irrelevant. Okay. I was just saying that the theme parks themselves would probably be destroyed and moved into Universal Studios because, again, it doesn't make sense to have 4 different Superman rides. I'd rather have 2 major ones that you can only go to if you go to Universal Orlando or Hollywood. But again, the more I think about it, New Jersey's location and everything going around in the state right now, I can see them saying, okay, if we're going to keep any of them, it's going to be this one. We know it makes money. We know it's in a great location. What's going on in the state right now actually works perfectly because, again, they're different from Disney, where Universal Studios, it's about the movie lot, especially the California ones. It's not just a theme park. You get the tour of the lot. You know what I mean? That's one of the things you get to do is tour the actual studio lot because the studio lot is next to the theme park. So they can do the same thing in New Jersey where they build the movie lot and then have the theme park right next to it. And you could do a tour of that lot as well. So I definitely see the potential there, and hopefully that's the case. You know, hopefully that's the case, because I still believe every other Six Flags is out there, because it wouldn't make sense to keep it, to be honest with you. But you know, but anyway, that's our show for today. I hope Ime Udoka learned from this. I hope he gets another chance, either whether it's with Boston or another team. Obviously, we would love to have him with the Nets, unless Steve Nash, unless you're going to show me something this year, huh?
I said, and Brett Farve can eat a bag of welfare dicks.
Yes, he can. Nia Long, call J. Cole, because you know he's waiting. And you can find me at Never For Brett Me. That's NEVA_4 BRETT_ME on Instagram and Twitter.
You know, I was too young for Lisa Bonet.
Mm-hmm. Too young for Shawty Adu.
What was I talking about? Not the Chuck D on all the socials, the_dope blog on Instagram, the dope blog all over on Twitter. Yo, Lisa Bonet, though. Like, that is, all time. Her daughter, Catwoman, just gorgeous women. I was like,
no, we really were
podcast about them.
We really were born just a smidge too late. Just a smidge. Because I know one thing. If I was married to Nia Long, y'all wouldn't have to worry about shit about me cheating. Like, that wasn't me. I'll be on my shaggy shit. That wasn't me. You see who I'm going on with.
They tripping, and people are wondering why Irv Gotti's still tripping over Ashanti. Like, have you seen Ashanti?
Right. I would be crying over that 20 years later too.
That's a lifetime L, man. He knows.
I'll be crying over that too. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, and join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence.
Who would I be without my baby?